Hi, Darlene here. It's been a week, over a week since I made a video because last week was just busy with, well, I thought it was going to be just busy with my Toastmasters Convention, but it ended up being busier than that. And I'll explain some of that to you here in a little bit. This is a pretty little sunflower. I like sunflowers. My beans are looking good there too. Well, this is looking pretty good. I think I want to eat some of these leaves here. They look yummy. I like the way this looks. And these tomatoes. These are the ones that I didn't really stake up per se. Got a few sticks in there helping it. This is almost, it's starting to turn. I'll give it a few more days and pick it before it gets totally red. That way squirrels or whatever won't be getting it before I do. My corn has tassels on it. But what I don't know is whether it's making any actual corn cobs or not. I know it has to have tassels to germinate. To pollinate is the word I want there. But I'm not seeing them. I'll have to do a little more research. I hope I get at least some corn off of it. It's not real tall. The tallest one comes to right about here on me. Ooh, that's an interesting color. Doesn't really show so much on, just looks orange on the camera, but in real life it's just an interesting orange. I like these. That kind of shows up a kind of a dusty pink. That one's yellow. This is the first year that I've done zinnias. Discovered I really like them. Well, I said I was going to tell you what made my week so busy last week. It had to do with my cats. I know I've shared my 2 kitty cats with you on various videos. My one cat, Lulu. She's my blue-eyed cat, such a sweetie pie. On Tuesday last week, just a week ago, come toward bedtime, she started just kind of getting really lethargic, and it's like she wasn't behaving like her normal self. So we watched her. It didn't get any better. We watched her all the next day. And then finally we called the vet described the symptoms. So they told us to bring her in the next morning. They'd do some tests on her and see what we could do to fix her. So I took her in and they said, well, it sounds a little bit like she might have a UTI, but we'll run the tests and see. Because she walked from one end of the house to the other a couple times, but most of the time she just lay there. She didn't eat. Wasn't using her potty box. She's just, poor thing, just laying there. And she's giving me those sad, big blue eye looks. Like, Mommy, please help. Well, so we left her at the vet's for them to run the test. Later in the day, my husband got the call. They said, this isn't what we expected. Her kidney levels are off the charts. It's like if we had caught this sooner when her levels were lower, we could have given her some medicine to possibly make her well. But this is past the point of no return. So we made the difficult decision to have the vet send her to kitty heaven. So I spent most of that day, that was Thursday, well, it put me in tears, really, because you just get, your hearts get so entwined with your little furry family members. It's amazing. I mean, in my heart I knew she's just a cat, but yet she was part of my family, and to have to say goodbye to her was hard. Well, we'd been talking about getting another kitten, or cat, actually. My husband said, no kittens, just a cat. So on Saturday we went out. We went a couple of towns over. We stopped at a pet store and they had a cat there. It was a nice cat, but it just didn't feel right. It was one of those cats that has every color under the sun in it. I forget what they're called. Anyway, we thought, well, there was supposed to be another pet store in that town, but we couldn't find it even with our maps. The app didn't seem to be there. So, well, the Humane Society, they said that it said online that they wouldn't open till noon. But we found it. They were having a big yard sale, so there were all kinds of people there at the thrift store part of it. So we went over to where they actually keep the animals, and they were open, actually. We went in, and the gal that was in there was taking care of some beautiful little kitties. They had some wee little ones, and they had an older one, and then there were 3 kitties about the same age. 2 of them looked alike, and 1 was black. But one of the ones she happened to have in her arms at the time when we walked in. My husband just fell in love with it immediately. So we asked if we could hold it, so she let us hold it for a while, and then she needed to run over to where the thrift store was, the yard sale was going on. So we held on to the cat. Well, we made the decision while she was gone. Yep, that was our cat. So we put her in we had brought along a cat carrier. We put her in that. And so the gal came back over and we paid our fees. We even named the cat. We called her Sweetie Pie. Well, all of our cats have the first name of Buttface. Now, that wasn't my doing. That's every cat we've ever owned. Her first name is Buttface. That's a husband thing. When I was still teaching school before I retired, my students always said, Mrs. Markert, what are the names of your cats again? They loved that I had kind of an inappropriate name for my cats. Anyway, our new little kitty, well, My husband had said no kittens. Guess what? This is a kitten. Well, she's like about 6 months old. She's not a kitten, not a baby, but yeah, she's got a lot of kitten in her. I don't remember watching a cat run and jump, and she's going to be our climber. I've not had a whole lot of problems with cats being climbers, but this one's a climber. She's a jumper. She's a knock everything over her, and we love the daylights out of her. Her name is Buffet Sweetie Pie. And I should go in the house and see if I can find her and get a picture. In between all that rambunctious playing, she likes to nap, as do all cats. And she is going to be a lap cat. She's very affectionate. And so, ooh, the sun's shining through there. That's kind of been interesting. Anyway, that's what comprised our week last week, was being sad, being happy, and doing a virtual Toastmasters convention on top of all of that. So it kept us really busy, so I did not make any videos last week. I just barely did anything in my garden even. Picked a few things that looked like they were getting ripe, but other than that, it's gone back and forth between being too hot and too cold, so the tomatoes don't know what to do. So hopefully they start ripening up. I got quite a few green ones. My zinnias are looking good. My calendulas have done real well this year. I have a few peppers here and there. Like I've got one right in front of me here that's, yeah, you can see it there. There's another one over there on that same bush. And my cloth to give it a little bit of shade. The sunflower that's under there is kind of reached its roof. Anyway, got some beet starts planted in some of the open spots there, and threw down some seeds for several cold winter type things. So this area of the garden is looking pretty good. Some pretty purple zinnias over there. Where are you going, little girlie? She was just running. Oh, there she is. Are you my climber? Yeah. So here she is. Meet Miss Buttface Sweetie Pie. Yes, and you can see she's my climber. Aren't you, girlie? She's my run and knock things over. She's my get into everything. I've had to move several potted plants I had in here because she managed to tip them over. And when we can't find her, she takes naps in the most interesting spots. Usually well, right now she's on the coffee table, but we found her. Usually find her on the kitchen table, or on the dining room table, I should say. So, her and our big black and white cat, they haven't quite made up yet. The black and white cat's is kind of a grumpy old cat anyway, and grr and hiss, and this one's a little bit afraid of her. Oh, she likes to play with my shoes too. So we've been trying to make them like each other, but it'll take time. the other two cats, the one that passed away and then the big black one. They were a black and white one. They were, I would say they were semi-friends. They were friends when they felt like it. So these two will probably be that way too. What you doing, little girl? What you doing, little girl? Ooh, tried to watch her with the camera while she was running. She's too fast for me. Anyway, that's all I'm gonna bring you for today. So, our sadness and our happiness. When you have animals, that's the way it is. You never quite know how long you're going to have the pleasure of them being part of your family. And if we'd known what caused Lulu's kidneys to, to quit on her, we maybe could have done something about it, but it just came on all, ooh, I got the hiccups, came on all of a sudden. But now we've got a new little kitty to love. And we still have her big old black and white kitty. But face cute as a button. Because she was as cute as a button when she was a kitty cat. She came to us. The story, she just wandered into the garage one day when she was just barely had her eyes open. And we didn't know who she belonged to. Nobody tried to claim her, so she was ours. But this one is a rescue from the Humane Society. And we're going to love the daylights out of her, too. I just saw her poke her head around the corner over there. She is quite entertaining. And I'll be glad when the two cats get along with each other. Black and white and gray and white. They look like they belong together, don't they? Well, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I know we're going to have a wonderful day. We're going to go to town and have lunch with some friends that we haven't gotten to spend much time with lately. Their daughter is with them, and she's getting ready to go back to her home. She lives, even though she grew up here, kind of here in Pendleton, for the last whole bunch of years she's lived in New Zealand, and so she's getting ready to go back to New Zealand. She's kind of been coming home every summer for the last few years, which is good. Anyway, we're going to go have lunch with them. And then the rest of our day will be a fun one. So I'll start making more videos again now that convention is over. And hopefully our kitty cat trauma is over. And garden is still going. Not doing a whole lot to report on, but it's still going. We don't have much time left before the frosts come, so we'll keep you apprised of how it's doing. Oh, until next time, may the good Lord richly bless you, and I will see you on the next video.